Alright guys, and for the Alpine stitch, we're gonna start with any even number of the foundation chain. So we will get the odd number of the stitches. So for this tutorial, I have 26 foundation chain, and now let's start our first row with the double crochet. So it's pretty easy how to do it. So how I do it is that I do yarn over and then I insert the hook into the third loop from the hook. We don't count the loop on our hook as a chain, but whatever is below. So into the third one, I know that maybe some crocheters, they put it in the fourth one, and then those three chains skipped, or in my case 2 chains skipped, counts as a first stitch for the next row. The thing is that I feel that the 3 chains just are too many, and then it doesn't make nice edge. So that's why I insert the hook into the third one, and those 2 chains are enough for for the next, basically like a first double crochet for the next row. So now we do yarn over, insert the hook into the third chain. Also, one more thing or tip, when you see the foundation chain, so I know that some crocheters also insert the hook into the V shape, as you can see when you see the foundation chain, but when you turn it, you can see the bump. So this is where exactly I insert the hook. So basically one bump is one chain, so I insert the hook into the third chain and I mean the bump. So it's up to you, whatever you prefer. Like if you're used to do it in the V shape, just go for it. I rather do it in the back bump because then it makes a beautiful a bottom of the project. So it's just a little tiny detail. So now let's do the first double crochet. So it's yarn over, insert the hook into the third chain, yarn over, pull up the loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull up the loop through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the last 2 loops. So this is your first double crochet. What I would also recommend, because those 2 chains also counts as a first double crochet or the first stitch of the row, like I mentioned. So it's pretty actually hard to make the last stitch into the top second chain. So I would suggest to put the stitch marker of for the second into the second chain. So now you can see that this is my first one, and this is where I'm gonna insert the hook at the end of the second row, and it's very actually forgettable. So I think that this is at least for the beginners, then it's actually easy to skip the last stitch of the next row, so then you don't have your number correct. So this is what I would just suggest to do, so then you know that you won't skip the last stitch. So now let's just continue with the double crochet. So first 2 rows are very simple for the Alpine stitch, and then you'll find out very soon why first 2 rows. And now once I am done with my first row of the double crochet, I'll show you what next. And also because we started with the even number of the foundation chain and we insert the hook into the third chain, we should have odd number of the stitches. Right, so now I'm done with my first row. I have 25 stitches, which is odd number, and this is exactly what we need for the Alpine stitch. So now what we're gonna do for the second row. So now when you're at the end, you will just do chain 1, turn the project as a book page, and now you will make single crochet in each chain until the end of the row. So this is still easy, still fun. I mean, Alpine stitch is fun stitch, but first 2 is just super easy. So how we do the single crochet is just we insert the hook into the first chain, yarn over, pull up the loop. We have 2 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the 2 loops. So this way you do your single crochet. Of course, if it's too fast for you, I have a video tutorial how to do the basic stitches. So if you're new, you're a beginner, so I have a video where I actually focus on those 2 stitches. So feel free to see the description, and you can see the link for the crochet tutorials for the beginners. So now let's just continue. I'm almost done, and we'll start with the third row, and we're gonna make the texture of the Alpine stitch. Now I'm about to make my last single crochet, so you can see that if I wouldn't have the stitch marker, it would actually seem that we are done, but then the thing is the number wouldn't be correct, and it would actually shrink the project. So now I'm glad that I had it, so now I can make my last stitch into those 2 chain skip that we did at the beginning. So now this is our second row done, and now let's start for the third one. So now at the end of the second row, basically after every even number, or every, which I will explain more, you will always make chain 2, which counts as a first stitch for the next row. Then you turn the project as a book page, and now we're gonna start to make the Alpine stitch. Alpine stitch is actually alternating between front post double crochet into the double crochet row and regular double crochet into the single crochet row. So I will show you right away. So now you will always start your row of the like a double crochet with the front post around the second double crochet from the previous row. So now those 2 counts as a first stitch. Also, if you feel, you can again put the stitch marker there. I don't think that it's gonna be actually necessary because now it should be more visible, but if you're not sure, you can again insert the hook into the top second chain, so you know that at the end of the 4th row you will make your last stitch there. So now you do yarn over, and now how to do the front post is that you will insert the hook from the front, like you see, around the second double crochet from the previous row. So the post is in front of your hook. So that's why it calls front post. So now we can see it, and then we do yarn over, we will pull up the loop, and now we just finish our regular double crochet. So now we do yarn over, pull up the loop through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the last 2 loops. So now you can see that this kind of popped up. This is our regular double crochet. Now you do double crochet into the next stitch, but into the single crochet row, not around, but in the next stitch, which is right here. And again, we're gonna make our double crochet. So now you can see how it looks. Now we do yarn over, and now you see that this stitch is connected to the regular one. So into the next double crochet, we're gonna make our front post again. So we basically skip the next double crochet next to that front post that we already did. We skip that, and we made it around the next one, and again we're gonna make it the front post. So we do yarn over, insert the hook from the front around the double crochet, so we can see the front post in front of our hook, and then do yarn over, yarn over, pull up the loop, make it a little bit also higher, so it will go basically the halfway of the row that we are just doing. Yarn over, pull up the loop through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the last 2 loops. So now it's always like double crochet, but then it depends like where you insert the hook and how you insert it. So now, because we did it front post, so now the next stitch, so even like when I laid it down, you can see the stitch, how it aligns with the stitch like under from the previous row. So when you do it, then you can see that the next stitch is right here, and this is where you make your regular double crochet. Now you do yarn over, then you skip this double crochet and make it around here, the front post. And this is what you alternate until the end of this row, between regular double crochet from the previous single crochet row and front post in previous double crochet row. So now you can see how we get the texture. but we're gonna see it more clearly when we make more rows. So then you just repeat it, and once I have a few, like a couple stitches left, I'll show you how to finish this row, but you just continue like this until the end. So now I'm at the end of my third row, and now you can see I have my 2 stitches left. So now I will just might do front post, and into the last stitch I will make my regular double crochet into the single crochet. So this is done. So this is how so far how it looks. And now we do just chain 1, turn the project, and from now on every even number of the rows, so now we are heading to the 4th one, we will always be doing single crochet row only. So now it's super easy. I would also suggest to recount the numbers if you have the same number, so then you will, you know, yeah, you will not miss any. So now you just do the single crochet until the end of the row, which is from now on every even number of the row, and every odd number of the row you will make your double crochet row, alternating the regular one and front post. Now I'm about to make my last single crochet. Again, this is those chain 2 skipped, so if you don't have the stitch marker, I would just recommend to recount it if you have the right number, because if you don't, most likely you would skip the last stitch. So now, because we are at the end, so every time where you're at the end of the single crochet row, you will make your chain 2, which counts as a like a first stitch of the next row. And now you can see now you can see how it looks. And now we are heading for the 5th row. So now in this row we're gonna be again repeating the front post and the regular double crochet. The only thing is that we have to do the opposite stitch from the previous row. So now you can see that our next stitch is the front post, because now we can see the double crochet like in front of us. So now we have to do the double crochet, the regular double crochet in the single crochet. So for this row, what happens is that we have like 2 regular double crochet next to each other, but don't worry about it, because then it will even out once we're gonna continue with the other rows. So now this is the 5th, 6th. So when we are coming back to the 7th row, we're gonna actually make the front post around this stitch. So then it will be again repeating like this 3rd row. So I hope it makes sense. So now we did for this row we did the regular double crochet, and the next stitch, now you can see that the double crochet is the regular double crochet. So now around the double crochet we're gonna make the front post. So now again the double crochet has to be in front of our hook. You do yarn over and pull up the loop and finish your double crochet as you know. And now you do yarn over and into the next stitch, because the next stitch from the previous row you see that is the front post. So now you can make the regular double crochet. Now next stitch is the regular double crochet from the previous row, so you will make the front post. Now we do the regular one. So this is what you alternate. I mean, now it's pretty easy to see when you should do your front post, because now it's around the regular one. So it's the opposite stitch or opposite double crochet. All right, so now let's just start let's continue until the end of the row. Now I am at the end of the row, and now you can see that my last stitch should be the front post, and I'm actually gonna do it. So even around the last double crochet, because it's our 2 chains, I always make it like a front post. This is my last stitch of this row, so then the edges will be actually nicely, and you basically continue your like a alternating front post and a regular double crochet until the end of the row. So then it kind of looks the edges basically that you still like keep doing in the pattern. So now again we are at the end of the odd row, so that means that we do chain 1 and the next one is the even number, and now we continue with the single crochet until the end of the row. And now you can also notice that this pattern, the Alpine stitch, is only one side, one-sided one, so that means that just the right side is just the one side. Usually, let's say double crochet or half double crochet, single crochet is or even the Trinity stitch and other stitches, some stitches they are like a reversible, but not this one. So when you, let's say, make some projects, just keep in mind that this is your right side, the other one is the back side of the project. So now let's just continue with the single crochet until the end of the row, and I'll show you the next row how we will even out the 2 regular double crochets next to each other. All right, so now I'm at the end, so let's make chain 2, turn the project, and now we can see that again we are coming back, and then now you can see that those 2 regular double crochet next to each other. So now it's easy because now we are kind of back, coming back to the 3rd row when we first started to alternate the front post and regular double crochet. So for this row, because we have 2 regular ones, we start with the front post around the next stitch, which is our regular double crochet. And now it's easy. Now you can see that this is the front post, so we have to make our regular double crochet. The next stitch is the regular one, so we have to make our front post. And this is how you continue with this pattern, whatever the pattern says. If you follow some pattern, or if you're like making some project your own, then just keep in mind that this row, the row where you do your when you start with the front post like this one, is your final one. So then you don't have the 2 double crochet next to each other, so it wouldn't look like I would say nice. It is even a little detail, but now you can see that we are actually continue with the pattern until like until like when it's possible. So I hope it makes sense. Let me make a little bit more rows so then you can see the texture a little bit more, but I think that it already popping up. So now you can see how it is. I absolutely love this stitch. So I'll see you in a moment once I'm a little bit more with the rows. Right guys, so this is how it looks when I crocheted more rows. So now you can see the texture more clearly. I think that this is my favorite stitch in crochet, like the Alpine stitch. So let me know in the comment what project you'd like to make with this stitch, and thank you so much for watching, and happy crocheting.